The biggest goal that we have as educators is to close the achievement gap. I like to call it the opportunity gap because we have the opportunity to close it.
The implementation of response to intervention really introduced us into what it means to be a culturally responsive district, and an instrument called the SIR, and how poorly we were performing on that instrument gave us really the insight that we really needed to attack this from a staff development standpoint.
At Northern Hill School, we worked with the RTI Center as one of their RTI model schools, and then through that experience we got to know some of the folks who work on culturally responsive practices, so that we spent a year going to different workshops and just understanding what it means to have culturally responsive practices in your schools.
The trainings that the state has been able to provide a few of our staff members has really allowed us to focus our attention on one topic, and the idea of culturally responsive practices as a framework in order for us to really sink our teeth into a certain topic and be able to present to our administrators, here's something that we feel our faculty and staff can really benefit from.
We've had some really phenomenal trainings just on what culturally and linguistic responsive teaching is and what that means, and taking a look at your own biases and your own prejudices that you have that you might not even realize.
The more trainings I've gone to, the more embedded in myself it is that, you know, that we are wanting to validate and affirm home cultures and build those bridges between home and school.
Our mission of our district is working together to ensure high levels of learning for all. And that's not just the students, that's the people that work in the district too.
The first part of culturally responsive practices is to validate students, so to make them feel that their ideas and feelings are respected and considered seriously.
Our equity committee, which is one of our district curriculum committees, was really the vehicle that was used and the people to plan and in service our own teachers.
It is based on what our staff needs to know about our students in relation to culturally responsive practices, in relation to their culture, in relation to what they need in the classroom, anything from meeting the basic needs of our students, all the way to how do we instruct them based on their different cultures at home.
When I think of culturally responsive practices, it just boils down to really knowing your students, knowing yourself as an educator, and then making appropriate steps to help each student achieve the progress that they want and they need to make.
I think that by having this day every year, our staff learns a little bit more about what they can do for their students, about how to differentiate for their students.
I think that the core of it is relationships. Relationships that make you connect as the educator to the students you are teaching and make them connect to you further. But like you said, it goes bigger than just the classroom and the students you teach out. It transfers out to their homes, to their families, to the parents, and then eventually at the community as a whole.
This is really a project without an end. Just like education, you can always learn. We always need to be growing and learning with our students, learning about ourselves, and learning about how to instruct those different populations of students.